Fair warning, this video might get a little steamier than usual. No, really, we're talking about showers today, and the power of the shower is for everyone. But getting clean is not just what you do in a shower, because when you bathe, it's the temperature, the duration, what sort of water you're using, the kind of soap, and the time you spend and the frequency of bathing that can all play into the picture. So let's plunge right in. But before we do that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell icon if you want to see more content like this. Hey guys, Dr. Nene here. I practice as a cardiothoracic, vascular, and general surgeon, and I'm now a health tech innovator who wants to improve lifespans and lifestyles. So stay healthy, stay curious, and keep watching. So let's start. Hot versus cold. Which do you prefer? There's pros and cons to both. And the idea is that in any given day, people are shedding numerous millions of cells. And these are dead cells because the integument, which is your skin, basically protects you against all types of external penetrations from bacteria. But the truth is, as the sebum and the oils and the dead skin build up, you can actually get infections and other things. And at the same time, it can lead to all kinds of interesting smells. If you've ever been on a subway, you understand what I'm talking about. So the idea is that hot versus cold is something that the showers would help with. Let's talk about hot showers. What's the benefit of that? They certainly are very relaxing and can be used before you go to bed. They also open up your pores and wash off all the dirt, and used with a little bit of scrubbing can actually help you take off the bacterial count as well as the dead skin. They also can, through the steam effect, open up your nasal passages. So for people with sinus disease or someone who has a cold, they can be beneficial in loosening up the phlegm and clearing up the passages. But at the same time, if they're done for too long, they can actually lead to thermal injury. And also they can strip you of all your essential oils. Now, the main thing that's the downside to showers as well is if you have any type of atopia, which is allergic tendencies, or eczema, or if you have high blood pressure, all of these can be affected. With regard to atopia, or you can get something called dermatographia, where when you put the hot stuff on, it'll leave patches on your skin. Those will go away, and those are just vasodilation of the skin arterioles from the hot water that you're putting on it. But they're very uncomfortable, and they look interesting and give you different types of patterns. In the case of eczema and other types of skin conditions, hot water can increase the amount of inflammation, and in some cases cause it to get worse. With regard to blood pressure and heart disease and whatnot, in most cases it's fine, but just remember a hot shower increases blood flow. And for what it's worth, it can cause you to have brief spikes depending on what you do. Now let's talk about cold showers. We're not talking about ice baths here, but cold showers. Cold showers we've all taken before. Most of the time it's because your geezer's not working, or you can't figure out in a hotel how to make it hot. But let's face it, when you do it, it wakes you up in the morning and it increases your alertness as well as your heart rate and oxygen intake. It can also calm itchy skin. So quite the opposite of the hot shower, cold showers can actually relax you when you're having an allergic response or if there's something going on where you're very itchy. It can certainly help with some muscle soreness after workouts, and they can also cause vasoconstriction, so you get some tightening in the surface layers, and in that way they won't dry out all your sebum because the pores can actually shrink a little bit. But there's one caveat to that, and that is if you already have a cold, it can be very uncomfortable to be in a cold shower. What I mean by that is if you have plugged up nasal membranes and you are coughing and whatnot, the cold won't make you feel any better. It's not that it'll make the cold worse, it's just the sensation will be worse. Now let's talk about a different type of shower, ice baths. So cold water immersion has become all the rage in the athletic community and has been for some time. If you ever watch those old football or baseball movies, you'll see the athletes being dunked in. And we actually talked about it on delayed onset muscle soreness, if you remember. And it has been shown to actually decrease the amount of soreness that people will have. And we're talking about anywhere from 1 minute to 15-minute dips in very cold water. Now, you're not doing it to the point where you get hypothermic, meaning low body temperature with issues. But what it has been shown through different research to reduce the muscle pain and soreness, decrease the inflammation, and also in some cases reduce fatigue and improve sleep. In addition to that, if you were doing something where you got very hot, it could lower core temperature. And so if you were having hyperthermia, meaning you were having heat stroke, this would be something you could use to kind of counteract that. But remember, ice baths are tricky because if you're in it for too long, there's a risk of hypothermia, and we've talked about that in another episode. In addition to that, if you do it suddenly and you've got underlying heart disease or other medical problems, it can lead to sudden body temperature changes, which then can lead to exacerbation or worsening of those symptoms. So we've talked about the types of temperature in the showers. What about duration? Most people should be taking 5 to 10 minute showers. I'll tell you why I say that. There's two key reasons. One is you conserve water. Now, I can tell you that a lot of people like these 15 to 30 minute luxurious showers, and as a result, both in India as well as overseas, they put flow limiters in, so we don't basically take all the water from the rivers and the oceans and the streams and use it for showering. But beyond 15 minutes, you're pushing it anyways, because you can get loss of natural oils, which are evident on the skin, and you can end up allowing some moisture to escape. If you've ever taken a long shower and ended up looking like a prune, it's quite an interesting sensation altogether. But I would say between the hot and the cold, lukewarm might be the way to go because it takes care of both sides of it. In addition to that, if you're in a tub or something like that, for a longer period of time, you could use salt baths or something like that, or different things if you want to relieve itching or cramped muscles. And then finally, as far as soaps and shampoos, we'll talk about that on a separate episode, but you should not overdo it. Take 1 shower per day, and then if you're working out, just wash off and get the private parts and the areas which have lots of oils and bacteria in them, and that way you won't have any problems with odors and all the other stuff. How often should you shower? I would say at least once a day is what we talked about. And then if you're participating in heavy athletic activities in heat and you're sweating a lot, you might want to take a second shower at that point. That's all for today. It turns out that the exact science behind your body and baths is not absolutely clear, but is evolving. And everyone has their formula, and I'd love to hear about it in the comments below as to the hot or cold showers. But we presented some ideas and we presented a link in the description so that you can go back and see what your thoughts are. But I hope this has helped in how you should think about which type of shower to take, how often to do it, what to use with the shower. And if you liked what we said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe for more episodes, and hit the share button so all your friends get it. And don't forget the bell icon, the famous bell icon, so that when new episodes pop up, you'll have them. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you in the next episode.